this time I'm composed, because the first time I acted like an absolute deranged 7-year-old excited child, because the film is absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's no words about it. It's my Hindi film of the year and Indian film of the year. I mean, it's too early to say that because it's still my initial reaction after watch the film again to properly dissect and appreciate it. This is just going to be a very short review, and this is going to be the first review in this channel, and I'm going to start review soon. And so yeah, Animal is absolutely brilliant. Go watch it if you want to. And there's one thing about the film is that you'll either hate it or you love it. There's no in between for this film. It is going to be the most divisive film in Hindi cinema. I'm not mincing my words over here. It is going to be extremely, extremely divisive. You will either hate it or love it. I mean, that shit show has already started on Twitter already, and there's an entire library of people that are hating on Sandeep Reddy Vanga because he's Sandeep Reddy Vanga, and rightfully so because of the shitty statements he's made. But as a filmmaker, I really, really respect him. As a human being, I do not. Please do not join me in that list. Just because I like Animal doesn't mean I'm a misogynist. Please, because you like labeling people so much. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of the people who's agreed with Vanga's opinions on women and slapping and all of that. I do not agree with that. Domestic abuse is domestic abuse at the end of the day. So now that the PSA is done, how is the film? Why is the film good? Okay, obviously I've said how is the film. It's really good, but why is it really good? You really need to be gutsy to pull out a 3-hour 20-minute drama of a character. It's obviously a character study. I guess it's well publicized at this point. To make a film that's 3 hours 20 minutes, which is not boring, which does not feel as lengthy, and in fact I felt that the film needed 20-30 more minutes because there are scenes which feel very incomplete, to be honest. But the amount of depth, the amount of meat he gives to each single character, each single scene is absolutely brilliant. You know when a filmmaker or a writer is respecting their audience, is respecting the material, is respecting filmmaking in general. This is reflected on how the film is shot, the way he shows windows every time, like we are the third person, or the way he uses zooms, the way we are looking into people. It's brilliantly done. Sandeep Reddy Vanga really knows how to make a film, regardless of who he is. Let us separate art from the artist over this point. I'm appreciating the film and the filmmaker Sandeep Reddy Vangas. I do not know him personally, so I'm not going to make any comments. I can have my own reservations about what he says about women. Why am I giving PSAs? This is not a PSA. So it's brilliantly acted throughout and throughout and throughout. People who trolled Rashmika for that one particular scene, watch the entire scene. She's killed it. She dominated Ranbir Kapoor in every frame in that scene, and it's beautifully written. It's lengthy in a good way. Brilliant scene, brilliantly written scene. Even the film in general as well, the first 20-30 minutes we're just given a sort of a portal into the character, who he is, what he is, why he is, and we see them not as story points but as character points. Again, this is a kind of a film where the character leads the plot and not the story. The story does not lead the film. The character leads the film. It's entirely a character-based film. Especially in the second half, there's so many rushed movements for a reason. Because when you see a character sort of go through an emotional turmoil and go out of control and become unhinged, become unapologetic in disgusting, vile, messed up acts, you know why the character is doing that. And in order to know why he's doing that, you need to give the time for the character to let himself know to the audience of who he is, why he is doing this, and what his trauma is. A trauma cannot be described in a single dialogue or a single line of dialogue. I think you need to see why and where he is coming from, what he has been since his childhood, and it's absolutely very well thought out writing wise. It's very well acted throughout, especially Anil Kapoor in a few scenes where he's brilliant, man. Anil Kapoor as an actor is not utilized as much, but please do utilize him. He's brilliant. Rashmika is brilliant, obviously. Tripti Dimri is not used as much, but again, she's always a brilliant actor. There's no complaints over that. Bobby Deol's role is not as big as people thought out, or not as heavy to the film. Again, it's Ranbir's film. It's the animal's film. Why he is the animal? Why he becomes an animal? How does he become an animal? So it is a film like that. It's not a film which is clean, or it's not a film which has an ending that is tangible, or it's not a film that has an ending that will satisfy people. It respects itself a lot. And if you know this, you know this, that films, especially mainstream Indian films, do not respect themselves a lot. They try to respect the audience, but in turn they lose respect for their own film, which in turn loses respect of the audience. And again, there are people who are like really hating on this and shitting on this film, and that's really, I mean, yeah, there are people who hate this film like unapologetically. I've been seeing since morning on Twitter where people are just hating on it constantly. That's a different discussion to have, because we can't really predict how people behave. And there are a few scenes in the initial parts of the film where, which is supposed to give us a portal into the character, which are problematic, but not problematic in a way that it should not have been there, or it's glorifying. It is giving us an insight into the character. It never glorifies its characters, or the acts of those characters. We see that, and the reaction in the theater was way different. I mean, obviously, the filmmaker has not intended for that to happen, but the people, the audience in the theater that I went in, was very vile and disgusting. So the way they reacted to such scenes really sort of irked me from within. But also, as a filmmaker, I don't think Sandeep Reddy Vanga could have predicted how an audience reacts. If that was the case, if filmmakers could know how the audience reacted, I don't think we'd have bad films at all. So I don't think that's a way to judge this film just based on audiences' reactions. Judge the film on its writing. Please do that. I mean, nobody to tell, but again, like, I mean, people who know will know why I'm saying all of this. So yeah, Animal is a proper 10 out of 10. So please do watch the film. Such films have to come out. Such films which are unapologetic in its writing. I mean, it's brilliant in its filmmaking. Even though it does go overboard somewhere, it's fine. I think for the film to breathe a lot, you need to have moments which go overboard. I mean, in the action part. I mean, yeah, these every element of it makes a lot of sense. So yeah.